We see a building, then huge flames. Suddenly, a boy is hurled out of the inferno, crashing to the ground several meters away with a groan "Gah." A group of boys stood in front of him, laughing. One of them smirked and said, "Oh, I didn't even see you there." "My bad," the boy next to the ringleader sneered. "Did you seriously just get taken down by some elementary magic?" Then we see the boy on the ground, our protagonist grinding his teeth. He gets up and says, "Isn't this enough? Return it to me like you promised." Wiping the blood from his mouth, he continues, "I brought what you asked me." Then we see the bully holding a paper bag with a burger logo on it. He sneers and says, "Well, at least you got enough for all of us." Bully number 2 chimes in, "But where's the drink?" With a darker expression. Bully number 1 growls, "You should have been more considerate." Bully number 1 sneered, "Consider this your punishment," as he conjured a fiery orb in his hand. With a malicious grin, he hurled it at our protagonist, shouting, "Take another dose." Then, our protagonist was flung back several meters, landing with one hand clutching his knee and the other bracing himself on the ground. Bully number 1 sneered, "Just as I thought, you're pathetically weak." Then a furious girl appears on the scene. The bully groans, "Uff, shinin' She's on the disciplinary committee," they scream. "Run!" Then the bully, in a fit of frustration, throws the phone, which smacks our protagonist in the face, yelling, "Be grateful, this is all you get today." The phone hits the ground and shatters. Next, we see the angry girl the bully call Shinin', rushing over to our protagonist, calling him Haruto-kun. Shinin' asks, "Are you okay?" Haruto responds, "Stop it. You'll be excluded too if you hang out with me." Shinin', with one hand on her chest, looked at Haruto and declared, "That isn't something I care about." Haruto, covering his face with one hand and grinding his teeth, retorted, "We can't survive in this place." As he walked with his eyes closed, hand on his chest, he continued, "If we keep hanging out like we did when we were little." Then we see Shinin' calling Haruto's name. In the next scene, the school's building is shown, followed by an interior shot. As Haruto walks past a group of students, they begin to whisper. One girl says, "Hey, that guy." Another replies, "Yeah, he's that special admission student. Even though he has zero magic capacity, how did he manage to enter a prestigious school like ours?" As Haruto kept walking, the whispers followed him. "Did you hear? There was a glitch in the scoring system," someone murmured. "Or maybe he had someone else take the exam for him," another voice speculated. Haruto's expression remained unchanged as he faced the murmurs head-on. Hearing the rumors, Haruto thought, "I don't want to admit it, but I can't deny them either." Haruto stands alone, clutching his phone, eyes fixed on a photograph. Reflecting on a fateful moment, he recalls how, without warning, his parents announced his acceptance as a special admission student. Despite his urge to question their decision, he only managed to stare at the sky, thinking, "It's too late now. Maybe I should have perished alongside them on that day." Haruto recalled the moment he was told he had zero magic capacity. With no way to major in the mage course, an image of Haruto holding his sword flashed through his mind as he said, "I was forced to become a swordsman." In a society where magic reigns supreme, his path was... Haruto went on, "calling me a worthless person who could only fight up close. As the sole survivor of my family and a perpetual hindrance during dungeon raids, they mockingly dubbed me the god of plagues." In the following scene, the camera pans to reveal an apartment building, and we catch a glimpse of Haruto as he approaches his door. His attention is drawn to a mysterious black envelope with a distinctive blue stamp. As he enters his apartment, Haruto notices the absence of both a sender's name and a postage stamp on the envelope. With a curious expression, he takes a seat on his sofa, the letter in hand. "There isn't a stamp or a sender's name on this," he remarks aloud to himself. As Haruto opened the letter, an ethereal blue glow enveloped his eyes, spreading to the letter's cover. Suddenly, the room was bathed in the same mystical light. As the letter slipped from his grasp and landed softly on the sofa, Haruto himself vanished into thin air. As Haruto's eyes fluttered closed, he felt a peculiar sensation enveloping him. When they finally opened, confusion clouded his expression. "What? Where am I?" he murmured, taking in the unfamiliar surroundings. Suddenly, a mysterious creature materialized before him, its form shifting like ethereal mist. Welcome Haruto, it intoned. According to the Western calendar, it's the year 2054, and you, Kuju Haruto, are just 16, are you not? With a startling revelation, the mist cleared, revealing a figure cloaked in mystery. Listen closely, the figure intoned, I am Kuju Haruto. I hail from the future. Haruto's voice crackled with urgency as he continued, in a decade's time, you'll become a mage capable of bending space and time to your will. But waiting that long is simple out of the question. Listen up, Haruto, his future self declared solemnly. I've traveled back to ensure you become a master of the arcane arts manipulating space and time. I see the doubt in your eyes, but trust me, I know you better than anyone. With a knowing smirk, he added, well, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Just once is fine. Do as I tell you to. As future Haruto stood over our protagonist, he uttered just one command, listen up. Enter the F-rank dungeon, Shinjuku Imperial Garden, alone. I'll speak to you again after you've done that. In the ensuing sequence, Haruto strolled through the dimly lit corridors of the Shinjuku Imperial Garden F-rank dungeon. His footsteps echoed against the cold stone floor as the system flashed the dungeon's name across his interface. Another cleared dungeon, he murmured to himself, disappointment evident in his voice. Gripping the mysterious letter tightly, he muttered, if this is some sort of joke, his words hung in the air, a warning tinged with frustration. As if in response, a faint whisper echoed in his mind, the voice of a future self, urging him with a cryptic assurance, you can destroy this letter if you wish. Haruto followed the instructions from the letter, frustration evident in the tight grip on the paper. Go straight, turn right, he muttered, his teeth grinding in annoyance. Yet, as he reached the supposed endpoint, all he faced was an imposing wall with gusts of wind teasingly pushing against him. Dead end, he sighed in defeat, looking at the letter almost accusingly. Can I burn you now, he quipped sarcastically. Following the instructions begrudgingly, he slid the letter into a narrow slit on the wall, a blue light immediately beginning to form around it, signaling the start of something unknown. As the wall parted like a secret passage, a rush of wind escaped, guiding Haruto inside. A hidden route like this, I've never heard of anything like it, he murmured, stepping forward. Abruptly, he shielded his eyes from a dazzling light ahead. Within the chamber, an altar stood, adorned with a sparkling blue crystal bound by chains. This is Haruto's voice trailed off as he recognized it. A skill cube, future Haruto's voice echoed, the first time you've laid eyes on one, isn't it? With a tentative touch, he prepared to unlock the power of the crystal. Haruto's expression softened as he gingerly traced his fingers along the smooth surface of the crystal, his brow furrowed in concentration. Just as his gaze turned serious, a voice from the future echoed, a whispered apology accompanying the crystal's sudden shift to a vibrant red hue. Startled, Haruto murmured. He stood before the now glowing red crystal, its luminance casting purple lines across the walls and floor. As he puzzled over the scene, the altar's ceiling parted, revealing a glimpse of the sky above. With a mix of curiosity and apprehension, Haruto looked up, his eyes fixating on a mysterious black cube hovering above him. As the black cube plummeted, blocks swirled around it, converging in midair. Soon, a massive stone hand emerged from the chaos. Within the settling dust, a looming shadow took shape beneath the hovering cube. Suddenly we see him staring at the looming shadow, glowing eyes with a worrying face. As the dust cleared, a colossal stone monster stood before him, its eyes pulsating with an eerie light. A golem, Haruto muttered, barely able to comprehend the sight before him. Suddenly, a blinding beam of light pierced through the scene. Haruto staggered back, blood trickling from his mouth and head, his agonized groans echoing into a tumultuous "Ga," and didn't know what was happening and thought, did I? Before he could finish, he suddenly heard a voice said, "Are you really okay with that?" Then we see image of what happened earlier in the day. Suddenly we see the system appear saying, "Hidden quest, the mage of space and time, indomitable spirit," and the requirement has been met. The death of the adventure has been cancelled. The physical body will undergo a rollback. Then we see Haruto eyes glowing with a blue light with a magical circle around it. And then he said, "I will survive." Then we see his body emanating a surge of magical power. Suddenly he, gazing menace. Meanwhile, the system is saying the space-time magic has been acquired. This is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. For the next part, please like and subscribe.